Hey everybody, we're back for Roleplay Blades, Hour 2, and we are just about to say our loads, and then I'm gonna start the score. Who decided to be lightweight load?
Light.
I mean, how much like sneaking are we going to be doing? Because there's ghosts, but then there's also whoever in the mansion. We don't know how many people are in there, right? Because there's like actual humans.
Yeah, I think like getting to the barrier generator might involve sneaking or might not, depending on how you guys handle it. I don't know.
Okay. I'll go light as well.
All right.
Yeah.
And as we said during the break, you guys have assassin's rigging, which means you essentially get two free weapon slots that don't add to your load. You have cool stuff, you know.
So we'll be able to choose up to 5 things as we're going, even though light is 3.
Right. Two of them have to be weapons, though,
to
not count it for your load. So
sweet.
Yeah. So everyone is doing the first part, right? You pick up the stuff. Myth like slinks off into the shadows and edges up in the darkness next to the barrier and like can't go any further, and it's just kind of like a darker shadow in the darkness over there. But everyone else totes some bales, and you start, go up the stairs, and Margette goes up, and they've given her a password or something, and she leans in, and the barrier's like crackling and sparking off the ground, and everything's covered in this fine black dust and ash. So you're like leaving boot prints, and you can see that it's been cleared away. There's boot prints kind of cleared away. Here, there's stuff has been coming and going, and there's a pile of stuff in this courtyard in front of the house there where the old statue is. That looks like materials, spools of cable and that kind of stuff. So she sort of yells over this crackling noise of the barrier, and the guy who's there, he's wearing a gas mask and the poncho and stuff, and he's got a sort of blunderbuss chopped down rifle with a big barrel slung on a sling in front of him, and he leans in while he's yelling the password, and then comes up and they exchange a few words yelling through their masks, and then he turns back and delivers this like really high loud whistle, and the generator or the lightning barrier slowly starts to fade.
What does the whistle sound like?
You just put your lips together. Put your lips together and blow.
Make the noises.
I've never been able to do that the really loud whistle, like that kind.
I can't do that either.
I don't know how to do that one. That's a good. Can you do that one, Zeke? Can you do that one? Can you give us
The funny thing is, my dad had the loudest whistle of anyone I've ever met, and he didn't use his fingers. He like curled his tongue and just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking train whistle is crazy.
That's totally what this guy does. It's just like crazy. It's super loud. And it slowly starts to die. You can tell that they're like easing down the power on this janky thing to keep it from going haywire. But the guy with the blunderbuss has like done this a million times, and it kind of looks like it's on, but he just steps forward and like, takes the first part of the first bundle of stuff, and there's like sparks flying off his poncho, and he just like gets on with it, and another guy comes in, and so all of you kind of carry the stuff in one trip. They're wrapped in these canvas sort of hauling tarps, and he takes you around the back. You can see some of the lights in the house are on, and you see as you head around the right hand side here towards between the outbuilding and the main house, there's a guy on a horse who's trotting around. It looks like he's kind of riding. He comes through a side street, clopping, and you didn't hear him. Like he appears, and then you hear the hoofbeats of the horse, and he's shirtless. He's got his hair in this long braid. He's covered in these like ritual scarification. He has a lance, like this long spear with this long blade. The horse's eyes are like sort of glowing in the like cat's eyes almost in the light of the barrier. And he pulls up, and the horse snorts and Myth has slipped through the barrier with you guys, and as you're getting closer, and Myth like coils back behind the noble statue in the front yard, out of sight of this guy. And you know right away he's like a Severosi. They're known for this. They live on their island to the west. They ride around on their crazy ghost-eating horses and fight ghosts without electricity and stuff. They're these like legendary dudes.
Cool.
And he has a silver ring on his finger. Also identifies him. Catches in the light. The Silver Nails is what they're called. They're a mercenary company, sort of legendary. They fought in the wars, and everyone knows their deal. So he must be one of them. But he was clearly just like romping through the Lost District doing something or whatever, and he's coming back to the house. He's all sweaty and has been like doing stuff. But he pulls up short and kind of waits as you guys go by, and there's a coal cellar, like a coal chute entrance, metal door at floor level that leads down to the house. And someone inside, one of the other workers, opens it up. Light spills out, and you guys start loading everything in through the cellar. Myth will
the mansion itself. You said, right?
Yeah, down into the basement or the sub basement of the mansion. Myth is going to hang back right now, Anne, unless you want to do a maneuver to like get past this dude. Myth's going to like hang around outside and not try to sneak by the ghost killing dude.
Mm-hmm.
If that's cool with you. You can order him to do something else, but that's what he's doing right now.
No, can I like call him later if I want to?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
then I'm fine with him staying outside for now.
Of all people to leave outside in the Deathlands, Myth is fine. This is it's like totally his element. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start delivering everything downstairs. Everything's been cleared out. There aren't any wine casks or bottles. Everything's been cleared of whatever the nobles had down here, and it's this depository for all this stuff. And there's a guy in a rubberized apron going through. He has like notebook, and he's like checking off supplies. He's got grease smeared on his forehead, and from another room you hear this like clanking, droning machine sound, this throbbing energy noise coming from somewhere else in the basement. So this is all a lot of setup to get to the actual problem. I just wanted to paint the picture so you understood your situation. The heist, the twist of the opening here, the risky moment comes when they've closed the coal doors. You guys are there. There's the tinkerer guy, this older dude with the apron. There's three of the house workers that are wearing like normal Duskwall clothes, like in shirt sleeves and suspenders, and they put on gas masks to open the door and like deal with you guys. But they start taking them off. Margette takes hers off and goes over to talk to the tinkerer guy, and he's like making sure that everything on the manifest has been delivered properly. And Jenna comes in to the room. She comes down these like servant stairs that go into the basement, and she's carrying a tray of mugs and sandwiches. And behind her is this big beefy Skovlander guy. Looks like a sailor. He's got tattoos sticking up out of his shirt on his neck. And he's got a keg, like a pony keg on his shoulder. Jenna, just to remind ourselves, is Miss Cataby's rival, the servant of Lord Suker. And she comes down and says, all right, got a bit of nosh for you. Like, this is just normal. And one of Margette's guys, he takes his gas mask off. He goes over and like clears some space on a table. She puts it down. She's like, don't push and shove now. Plenty for everyone. And the wheels start turning. Cataby, like you see everyone like taking off their gas masks and stowing their gear and like, let's have some mead. And they go over to get their mugs. And
The rest of us don't know this lady, though, right?
no, yeah, you don't.
We've never met her. Okay.
No, you don't know her.
So what do you do, Marcus?
I need to take an action that would prevent me from being seen by her.
Do you think your eyes widen, or you give any indication that you might be surprised by someone?
Probably not. Like, if anything, you might notice that like I've suddenly turned around, or I'm
away
not
from her,
directly
did you
fit,
say?
right? Like if you were observing me, you'd be like, they're turning away from that person.
Yeah.
Maybe. I
Careless
don't
is
know.
in mega alert mode. So if you turn away and everyone's going towards the sandwiches, I think
Yeah.
Careless finishes taking off his gas mask and like his smile goes down a little bit, but then of course goes right back up. It's almost a reactive thing. And then he herky jerky like power walks right to her and gets right in her fucking face. I mean, not like right in her face, not like an inch away, but you know, a foot away, like well within uncomfortable social boundaries.
Yeah.
And he looks at her, looks at the sandwiches, looks at the mugs, looks back at her and says, "You are a fantastic cook. These look like they were quickly made, but immaculate. I am famished. I could eat all of them."
She sort of moves back when you get closer and sees your Tekarosi eyes
He
and
keeps walking forward.
yeah, the Skovlander, he puts the keg down on the table and turns the tap to fill a mug, and then kind of glances with concern back at this guy getting in Jenna's face, and kind of he looks at you and looks at her like do we have a problem here kind of face. But she goes, all right.
I think as they have that exchange, this guy's towering, right? He's like a big guy.
Yeah, he's not as big as Aldo, but he's a big beefy
Careless,
laborer guy. Yeah.
looking at her, looks up at him, just keeps smiling. Is like, "You are a mountain of a man. I bet you could lift 20 of those kegs. In fact, my friend Aldo back here is, I would say, more powerful than you. What do you think about that? Also, your sandwiches, so good. Could I have another, please?" he's like drawing them into his allure.
Yeah. She.
I didn't hear my name.
Like every time she turns away, he like turns to her and reins her like, "Your sandwich is great." And he's like, "You are strong." And he's just like,
All right. I think I'm hearing you. So you want to draw her attention away from the fact that one of the members of the crew is standing with her back turned wearing her gas mask.
He's their entire world for right now. He's putting him on alert because he's in her personal space. He is bathing her in compliments, and then he'll just fucking bounce that conversation around wherever it needs to go for as long as possible.
Yeah. So do you want to, are you giving Miss Cataby an opportunity to do something, or are you just kind of stalling in general?
It's not even I would call it. Well, let me look at it mechanically, I guess, right?
There's different ways to handle it. I kind of want to get a sense of like what you want to achieve with this.
He recognized that she was caught off guard, so I guess you could call it a stall, but it's a lot more strategic than that. It's more of a like diversion so that she could make a choice for what she's going to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's going to be under complete, like the intent is that her decision is made completely anonymously. Like they are not looking at anyone else but him right now.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's treat that as a setup, and we'll see what kind of follow up happens. But what action are you using here?
Absolutely finesse, right?
Ah, totally. Yeah. That's perfect.
Sorry, that's my wife. Ugh. So do I hit prowess then, right?
You hit finesse.
Oh, you can actually hit finesse itself.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this is risky.
Is that the one where I get experience for it?
No. You can make it desperate if you want.
Let's do it.
If you want to make it desperate, I'll boost. We can give Wheat a bigger boost on whatever Cataby does. Okay. Instead of just a standard setup boost. We'll give him an extra benefit. Yeah, and I think maybe the desperate part is pushing it to. It sounds like you're like want to tie up the strong man with some sort of contest or something.
Yeah.
Instead of just it being a stall, it's like, hey, come over here and let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Away from area. Cool. Yeah. All right. Desperate
Effect then what?
finesse and standard effect.
Standard effect. Boom. How many bonus dice?
You don't have any currently. You can push yourself or take a devil's bargain, or someone can help you.
Well, my ability gives me +1 in prowess. Because I'm tough as nails.
That's when you roll prowess to resist things.
Okay.
Not
starting a clock, John. It's on your bullshit again. We're at 2 ticks right now.
Look, it's not my fault if you can't RTFM.
Then do I get 2 because I have a 2 in finesse?
Yes, that's right. So it'll automatically do that. You don't have to put in anything.
Okay.
Except bonus dice, which you don't currently have.
Since this is a risky one, I could push myself for 2 stress to add 1 more, and then I would have 3 dice. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
Not going to do it. We're going to go with just the 2.
It is.
Unless anybody wants to help that has no stress back there.
It is desperate for you. A 4 or a 5 here is still not great for you.
You sold me on it, John. We're going to go for +1 on this one. Anybody else want to help?
Actually, I would use a foresight here.
All right. Yeah.
Which basically assist a teammate without stress.
Oh, cool. So I'm at +2 now, plus the theory. So it's 4.
That means you planned for this, Miss Cataby. Maybe you want to
So set up that if she shoots me the eyes, I know to go do a diversion, maybe.
Actually, it is a quick flashback to me having a conversation with Careless on the boat to just say, there's one tiny little thing that could happen. It's like the worst case scenario potentially dropped down from the sky and presented itself right in front of us. It would probably be that Jenna, who's associated, of course, with Lord Sukkar, could potentially be around the area we go.
I think as you're saying that, he's at the table, like we said, hands clasped, just sitting there. But as you start to kind of circle around this idea, he pops up, goes right over next to you. He's like, "Oh yes, this would be quite the problem, but a delicious opportunity to put our minds together to get out of this one together. Teamwork." What does he look like, Miss Cataby?
So I probably explain Jenna and throw in a few things like, and she's a total bitch, if I didn't say that before, but I, give the features and who it is and explain why it would be bad.
Okay. She's sort of she's the fair version of Miss Cataby, kind of. She's pale haired and, but they have a similar look about them. But yeah, she's a bit of a looker, like Miss Cataby is.
I like it.
She's
a servant, just a servant.
Her fine servant's livery.
You are a fierce, independent woman. Exactly. All right, so
you get 2. You're gonna have 2 bonus dice total
on top of the 2.
On top of the 2, desperate finesse.
Surely with 4 dice.
Surely there's a 6 there.
I could roll a
bam
1.
Yes!
Oh,
Nice.
Did I do it?
Woo!
Power of positive
The
thinking.
first one, because the rest
stuff.
shit.
There's the stuff. No complications, no consequences, no trickery.
Good start.
I also like when the engagement roll gives you risky. You're like, how about desperate? Let's just go ahead.
It's all about the experience, John.
That's right. So don't forget, mark your XP under prowess, I believe, or whatever finesse is under. I think it's prowess.
Yeah. So I get 1 in prowess, is right?
You get an experience tick in your prowess track. And this totally works. So, Miss Cataby, you get a great opportunity here to do whatever. So, the strange Taikarosi completely somewhat scares and then totally enthralls Jenna and the Scoldlander. And a couple of the Foghound's crew, they're also like, I don't know, although he looks pretty big. I'm gonna put 4 slugs on Aldo, and they start it turns into this little situation. And Jenna is she's reserved. She holds herself, she doesn't get super involved, but she realizes like, oh, this is good. Like, we want to have good relationships with this smuggler crew, and things just seem to be going well. So she kind of like stands back and watches approvingly, like, yes, excellent. This is going well.
So
I slide next to her as like her fellow cheerleader. Go ahead, Steve.
Nice.
So in real life as well as in the game, I missed a little bit of that. So I want to say, no, I just want to say like Aldo was kind of oblivious until he heard his name, like loudly shouted by somebody.
Okay, I think I pick up on that because I see you like look over and there's just maybe a little like a slight shrug or something like that. And there's a moment, if for the viewers, a very golden moment, the first moment of panic you've ever seen in Carol's face. Where he's like, oh my God. And he's like, Aldo, the two of you, brutes, gigantic men, we're going to have a strength contest based around the keg. And he like looks back at the lady. He's like, sandwiches, they're so good. They're running low. They're going to need more. Is there a talk? Can we make more of these for after these early men do this endeavor?
Well, is there some sort of payment involved?
Yes, there is, Aldo. And he looks at you, and that panic persists again. He's like, the payment will be agreed upon between us. I have all the payments for you, and
oh, right, cinema. I pick up. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
All right, okay, no problem. All right, so what are we doing? Are we just beating each other up, or are we wrestling? Maybe I don't know.
Arm wrestle. An arm wrestle would be fantastic. Don't you think so, miss?
She just doesn't know how to react to, she like often happens. But she composes herself and says, oh, that would be delightful. Let's have a bit of wrestling, why don't we?
A bit of wrestling. I like
and the guy like sees Aldo comes over, and the guy's like looks up at him and he's like, arm wrestling then. Like she doesn't want any kind of other wrestling with this guy.
Yeah. And as you guys kind of sync up, I go over, but I'm like still like looking back over at her, very much so like keep your eye on me. And he goes to him and he goes, gentlemen, now look, there is and I was only looking at Aldo. There's a very high chance that someone's arm could break in the middle of this. It would make it so that they could not function later, and that would not. And he pauses, and he's like looking at the huge. His eyes.
This guy's looking really nervous. He's like,
I look away. You're looking at me, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I look away from you, and I look directly at Rune, and I go, laying it on a little thick, isn't he?
I'm just
like, I'm like, it's an inside
was
joke. My last name's Thick.
So
It's Careless
Didn't
Thick.
get
Look,
All right.
gentlemen, play it safe, play it cool. We're all friends. We are just smugglers here to, or not. He doesn't say that. He says we're just delivery people.
well, you are smugglers.
Oh,
That's
do they
fine.
know we're smugglers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he says that thing. He says we're just smugglers. Nobody's arm, again, looking at Aldo, needs to break. And then he goes back to the lady and goes, I love arm wrestles. They are so intense.
All right. Well, and I look at the other guy.
He's started to sweat, but he's game. He's game. No one's arm's gonna get broken, right? So it's all good. It's pretty cool.
Before we begin, my name is Aldo, and you are?
I'm Garrick.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
His voice doesn't crack or anything. He shakes your hand.
All right. Now, since it's your home turf and everything, pick an arm. Which one?
Pick an arm.
Oh shit!
He actually cringes. He's like,
That was for Careless because I was like, I'm guessing he thinks like, which arm do you want to wrestle with? And Careless is like, oh, which arm is coming off?
You see it, the decision in his head. He thinks, well, I'm better with my right, but I'm gonna lose and probably get hurt. So he puts his left arm out.
All right. I roll up. I unbutton my cuff, roll up my sleeve. All right, now it's just who hits the table first, right?
Right. That's
It's been years.
standard arm wrestling rules.
Well, put his hand up. May the best man win.
Let's do it then.
Okay.
So, pause. Wheat. You've been given a golden opportunity. Would you like to do something with bonus effect and better position, or would you like to indulge your vice and get in on this gambling action with arm wrestling?
As much as like
Or something.
I am, that is exactly what Cadby is thinking. Like, oh my God, they had to put a wager on it, didn't they? But realizing that this is my golden opportunity, I have a couple questions for you. So, like, one of my items is actually like a fine cover identity.
Yes.
Is like being prepared to potentially know I could meet with Jenna. Is there a way I could actually disguise myself and maybe like half prepared to do this? So this gives me my opportunity to do just that.
I absolutely, you can do that.
Okay.
Tick your item, and you've got it. You prepared ahead of time for this eventuality, and yeah, you're going to try to pull off the disguise, and thankfully your teammate here has given you a little extra time to get it right, and also not to be closely scrutinized by Jenna, right? Like,
right,
she's not going to come up and get in your business. You're going to be able to stand off on the other side of the room and just look vaguely like someone else, right?
Exactly. That's right.
So what can you get, just when we see your mask come off? What do you look like? What have you done to change your?
So I think like there's this almost like anime-esque montage where like the mask comes off and then this blade comes out, and at the same time she like grabs the end of her hair and twirls it up and sticks the blade in to like stick it up, and then puts a different hat on, and then like quickly takes some of the like dirt and grime from her, like what we've been in, and just kind of like puts it all over the face, and then like finally puts on a prosthetic nose.
Nice.
Yeah.
While this is happening, I'm standing next to Miss Cadby and I'm like eating a sandwich and I'm just like nodding like that's good. Okay, yeah, you're doing it.
And maybe I don't know exactly what her outfit is, but like anything I can do to look less female would probably be, So maybe
I do something about all of
I would
this.
like first off, like suddenly you'd see her posture change to some like what she thinks would be a sort of gruffy. I traverse the Deathlands.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're wearing this like waxed poncho thing and your hood, already. So it's covering you mostly. And yeah, it's pretty good. Like we haven't seen Miss Cadby do this yet. It looks a little preposterous when you start that you're just gonna like improvise this thing, but once you're done, Rune's watching you, like it's pretty good. Like your eyebrows are heavier, your posture's different, your nose is long, and you look different. You really do. But let's see how totally effective this is. You've been given a lot of opportunities here and bonuses. So Jenna, she like notices the movement and kind of glances in your direction briefly, and maybe that's all there's going to be to it. So the action here is up to you. It sounds like you're swaying her with your disguise, but you maybe are doing something different. It's your choice of action.
I mean, like after the disguise, maybe if I notice any sort of a glance, maybe I'm just like kind of like moving to put something down. Just any other action that like would be seen as nothing but they're just getting their gear off. Right?
Yeah, you're selling the role with
right.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And then maybe I go and like grab a sandwich to try to just blend it.
I could see finesse here too. Both of those seem like stuff you're doing. So
I'm holding multiple sandwiches, so I'm like,
I mean, in terms of like for a roll.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, would sway work? Because
Yeah,
technically,
totally.
is that right? I'm just trying to sway with my disguise and body actions and all.
Totally. Sway is good.
Okay. I would also. It's one stress for an additional die, correct? Or
Two. Or you could spend your foresight on this.
No, we're still pretty early. I'm just gonna go for this.
So because of Jeff's maneuver, you're gonna have controlled position instead of being risky.
Okay.
And you're gonna have great effect.
Okay. But I'm gonna just do that. Suddenly, there's another flashback where I'm like, you realize that if this all fucks up, you're gonna have to kill her, right? Careless, like you're just gonna have to take her out.
Well, I have a devil's bargain if you want it, which would be that like this burns your disguise. You'll have to like acquire your disguise item again. This is gonna like use it up basically because the foghounds and Jenna's gonna get a look at you and like it's not gonna work again very well in the future.
Right.
So
Right.
if you're willing to burn it up, like, you can take a bonus die for that. But you don't have to.
I think I'm just gonna go for it, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Controlled. Great. Sway.
Nice.
Oh, look
Oh,
at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
success.
The Sixers are back.
Yes.
Back.
Yes.
It's always nice at the beginning too to get the good rolls before things so they don't spiral out of control completely. Nice. So yeah, she glances and like there's no recognition whatsoever, and she might want to like host a little bit, but she's being totally distracted by this crazy betting arm wrestling situation, and she notices that Rune is like taking care of, is like handing you a sandwich and stuff, so you're not being left out. It's obvious that Sukar needs smugglers and has sent Jenna down here to like, make sure that these guys like us and want to work with us again. So that's
Awesome.
that's what's happening. And then she just like, forgets you're there. Like,
Nice.
and yeah, everyone turns to this guy getting his arm destroyed. So, although how badly do you want to hurt this guy? What's your target injury?
Now is I was looking at, is it skirmish or wreck?
That's up to you. You get to pick. So,
Okay. Well, I didn't know if it was skirmish to see if I won the deal, and then wreck to see how much damage I did. I don't know if
you're gonna win. You totally outmuscled this dude, and you're gonna hurt him somehow.
Okay.
We're just gonna roll something to see if you go too far or it's maybe a little under. We're gonna see if you can get it to where you want.
Okay. I want to.
You know what I mean?
I want to avoid a broken arm.
Okay.
I would love to like, if there was any way that I could work it where I just like pop his shoulder out of joint.
Why would you not want to break his arm?
You could pop.
He hasn't done anything.
But he could later.
No. Listen. I got the point of you saying that we want this guy out of commission. If you pop a guy's shoulder out of joint and then pop it back in, he ain't using that arm for weeks.
Is that true?
Fair
Is
point.
that how that works in this universe? Okay.
Well, I think that's how, because it's super fucking, it hurts like a motherfucker, and it's super duper sore like afterwards, like lifting.
It's bad. It's bad.
I
bad.
think.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
He's not gonna be able to punch us with that arm later. Is the
WebMD this.
Your character. If that's what he took, that's fine. That's cool.
No, I think that's good. So let's do this with the score in mind. So like this
I
is
just like the idea of him being like, he's laying on pretty thick, isn't he? And then he goes like, crack, are you okay? I don't want to break your arm there.
Well,
so
like it's on second thought. I'm just saying on second thought, like we want to make absolutely sure this guy is out of commission. So I'll think about it again. I'll look at his shoulder. I'll look at his muscle structure and stuff like that, and think about like, well, if I pop his arm out, like he shouldn't be able to use it. I better not chance it. So, and then I just fucking go for it. And I try and like break his elbow, like turn it so fast that his fucking elbow like comes loose.
Snaps. Yeah. Or his scapula breaks or forearm breaks or something breaks.
I don't know bones, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of ways for that to go bad.
Arm bones.
So this is like taking a guy out of commission, which is clearly a good thing for the score. But because all of this setup and stuff has gone so well, like there's opportunities here. Like if people want to like slip into the house unseen right now and go do stuff, you could. If you want to get into that generator room and see what that's about, you can do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Careless and Aldo have captured this situation real well, and so there's a chance for people to do stuff. You don't have to. You can stay together.
Do we need to do rolls for that, or can we just like be like, I leave the room? Or
yeah, if you go, actually, if you want to slip into the generator room, you can just do that. If you want to go upstairs, like they might notice you going up the stairs, so you'd have to sneak to do that. But
can we do a flashback real quick then?
Sure.
I think in just such a situation on the boat again, I think we like go back into the conversation where Miss Cab's like, you might have to kill her, and Careless is like, well, if I must. But then he like skedaddles over to Rune and is like, Rune, it has come to my attention that there may be a situation where there could be a bit of a distraction. If such a situation should arrive, I would need you to forward scout, generally looking for like the room itself, the generator.
You got it, Chief.
Very good.
Nice. That's a free flashback. No stress cost for that. That's just a good idea.
So while they're kind of circled around the table or whatever, I walk away from Ms. Cataby, and on my way past the table, I pick up another sandwich and put it in my jacket, and then I'm gonna go to wherever the generator room is.
Nice. Rune gets a new vice, sandwiches.
I think as Rune is making her way out, I lean into her, Jenna, is her name, right?
Jenna, yeah.
And I'm like, would you like to wager on this? And he like looks really closely at her.
She sort of shakes her head, and you see she's wearing her like servant's livery. It's this like form-fitting vest and hose and slippers and white gloves. It like she doesn't have any pockets or anything, so she just kind of like I'm afraid I can't do that.
Oh, we don't have to wager with currency, not in the way you understand it. I mean, how about a finger? Winner gets to keep a finger.
I fucking love the matter of fact way he says it. Like it's a normal thing that people bet fucking fingers. So creepy.
Jenna,
a finger.
She's handled drunken nobility at parties for her whole life, and she very just like smoothly, she laughs at your obvious, cute joke, but not too much to make fun of you, but enough to with a little edge to it, so she knows that she appreciates that dark kind of talk. But she basically just deflects, like, oh yes, if only.
He like very obviously spontaneously starts to laugh too, like I was, of course. Like, and you notice there's actually a knife in his hand when he says that, and it just kind of disappears.
The funny jokes.
Just engage in this. It's fine. I have watched sporting events since. Anyways, this will be great.
All right, so Rune, you slip through the doorway. It's just an open doorway with a sort of dirty curtain, so you can just slip through the curtain real quick. And there's what used to be normal sort of house generator that some nobles have. Maybe it was coal powered or gas, or not gas, coal or oil powered back at some point. But it's been fitted with this crazy series of extra pieces, and there's a tank of glowing blue electroplasm in the corner that's hooked up to it, and another one next to it that's not connected, that are full. They're sort of like phone booth sized metal tanks that have little glass indicators on the side that show the level. It's connected with hoses. It's clanking and churning away. There's smoke coming out of it and sparks shooting. It's about, there's like 8-foot ceilings here. It fills floor to ceiling, and you have to kind of edge around it to get all the way into the room. It's churning away. There's all these gauges on it that have been haphazardly placed at various points. It's patched, it's soldered in different places. It's like a custom built, someone made this thing
Frankenstein
piece
machine.
by piece. And they've clearly like upped to the load over time and added bits to what was already there.
Okay.
So it looks like, at first glance, we can maybe do a roll, but at first glance you're like, maybe I can just kick this thing and it'll fall apart. I don't know. Like, it doesn't. Either that or it's so redundant. Like, who knows how to turn it off? It just, your first impression of this thing is like, geez, I don't know. This thing's a mess. It's
okay.
Yeah.
I guess
am a little upset. May I say that it's not me doing this? God damn.
Well, it
break
hasn't.
somebody's arm. Okay.
There's no wrecking happening yet. Although it's just it's just scouting part of it. Just the scouting part.
Can I use maybe like a study roll to see if I can determine what's the best way to disable this permanently?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So I'm assuming it's just going to be a controlled standard roll.
Yep, that's right.
John, is this where the electricity runs through her body, or are we doing that after this roll?
That's right now. I'm just studying. Okay, we're just looking at it.
Controlled study. Okay, so you can let it go right here and just be like, I don't know. I don't get it. You can move to a risky position and try again, which would basically in this case mean like you see something past the most recently added layer that looks familiar. And if you like get in there, kind of like, slip through some of the pipes and kind of crouch down and stick your head in a little bit, you might be able to get a better read on what this thing is doing, but that would be risky because the thing is obviously like dangerous. Or you can just
can I just let go of the study roll and try and just like break it at random?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this.
I'll just make a fortune roll. Like, I don't know. We'll roll probably like one die. Just see.
Okay. So I'm just going to do roll fortune.
Yeah.
Okay. And then notes. No notes, I'm assuming.
No, you can name it something if you want to.
Okay. Destroy generator.
And Zeke, why don't you click your... Are you using rec on this guy? Are you using skirmish? What are you using?
I'll use skirmish because in the description of skirmish, it says specifically wrestling.
It does, yes.
Oh, nice.
All right, give me a controlled great skirmish roll, and we'll do this at the same time. You break this dude's arm while Varun kicks the generator, whatever she does.
Great.
I'm a little person, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. What are you doing, Varun? You're wrecking it, right?
Well, you said to roll fortune.
Sorry, yeah, it's just fortune because you don't actually know what you're doing. You're just like,
no, yeah, I'm just.
Are you kicking
pulling at the hoses and
okay,
trying to,
pulling a wire free or something?
Yeah, but I want to my goal is to permanently disable it. I don't want them to just walk in here and be like, oh, let's just reconnect this and it'll work again,
Yeah,
so
It's like I unplugged the power button.
Yeah.
You don't know how to do that.
Thank you.
Because of the study
Yeah.
situation. So this is like whatever you do next almost definitely won't permanently disable it, but it'll do something to it. Something bad, right?
Okay.
And we'll see what that is and how bad it is. It might be bad enough to lead to that, but you don't see an obvious immediate way to just like take care of it. So you're just gonna be like, nah, I'll try something.
Okay.
So
number of dice is says set to 0 or says 0 right now?
Just put 9.
Oh, actually, I don't want to put words in your mouth here. You could be making a desperate rec roll if you want to instead.
I can? Oh.
Yes, you can do that. I don't want to deny you the XP if you want to. Instead of doing something, like pulling a wire, which is potentially safer for you, you could like
insert your hand into the entire
Yeah.
grid.
Like really get in there.
I just don't want
and-
to die, or like get really seriously injured by this thing. So I kind of don't want to do that.
What's the worst that could happen, Anne? I mean, come
What's
on.
the
mean,
worst?
Well, I already plugged into the power grid once.
John's like, all right, you wake up, you're actually in the police station again.
What? Yeah. No, thanks.
you could be electrocuted, but you know you can always resist bad outcomes. So it's not
Mhm.
it's not like it automatically happens.
All right. Should I roll?
Yeah. And Zeke, yeah, why don't you roll 2? 2.
Take the lowest result. What does that mean?
Oh, you rolled 0 dice for some reason. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll just say it was a 2. That was the first die you rolled. We said 1 die, so we'll count the 2.
Okay, and I roll, and I don't get any bonus dice.
Nope. 5. Okay. Yeah. So 2 things happen. Zeke, this guy goes and like. tries-
Before I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Before we do this, before like we're sitting there with our left hands up, and we clasp our hands, and that like I was talking about, like sizing him up, his shoulder, his elbow, and shit. And I look at him and I go, "By any chance, do you play any instruments, or
Jesus.
do you paint?"
Just terrorizing this dude. He like his eyes are wide. He shakes his head.
Okay, and that's my decision. That's where my decision comes from, to not do the shoulder and break his arm, because I couldn't hurt an artist.
Right, that's true.
So so that's my decision. Like, all right then, I'll fuck him up.
Nice. Yeah, so he screams in pain, and so we don't hear the like electrical pop and sizzle from the other room. But you guys see it. You're looking over Jenna's shoulder, and under the curtain you see this like blue, like this flash of light. And the guy's like, and he tries to like move his elbow so the leverage isn't there and get out from under it and like off the table. But he's too slow, and you feel it break, his elbow break.
Sounds like celery stalks. Just
Yeah. And it's
Damn.
and it's bad. Like it's a little worse than you meant to do. You didn't get a 6 here. So like you see the bone, comes out and lacerates something. So he's just like pumping blood like against the side of the workbench, and he gets really pale and like.
I immediately look at anyone who's wearing like a scarf or a cravat or something like that. I immediately look at anybody is it somebody wearing.
Yeah, Jenna, she's actually wearing a cravat, and she'll totally like jump into action at the. I mean, if you want to, you can totally do it. But
Yeah,
she's like mercy, and she takes her cravat
yeah.
off.
I grab it from her,
And
I
the guy's fading. He's just like he's like passing out.
and I
You're
look at
the
the
only
wound.
2 down here, right, John?
Sorry, what?
You're the only 2 down here.
There's the Tinkerer guy, the beefy dude, and Jenna, and then the Foghounds. Yeah.
The Tinker is from the mansion, you said?
Yeah. He was just like he was working, and now he was like watching the arm wrestling.
Where's he positioned?
He's like behind the Foghounds, like looking over them, watching the thing, kind of off to your right.
Can you give me a general vibe of the room? Do I feel like it's near a hustle bustle of people? Is it fairly secluded? Is it kind of quiet down
It's
here?
the basement. Yeah, it's quiet. There's nobody else down here.
Okay, I feel pretty strongly about this then, John. I'm gonna. Careless kind of like goes up and positions himself behind Jenna, and then says to Aldo, if you could, he says, Aldo, make sure and take care of the Tinkerer, and then I'm going to snap her neck.
All right. Hold that thought.
Jesus, what?
And so you've pulled this cable out, and it like sparks fly, and one of the gauges like pegs, and that pipe that it's connected to is like it starts rattling really loudly. Some gases, some sort of pressure starts building, and you see it leaking out where the solder is. A little jet of hot air or hot steam or something. You're looking at it like, okay, like the thing is still going,
Yeah.
It's things are getting off. Like there's a cascade that's starting
Okay.
of bits failing, and you're looking at it like, I don't know. It's bad. It's not. It's still running, but something bad is happening to it.
Can we have a generator's gonna blow clock?
Sure. We can.
Why would you ask that clock?
Because then I don't have to do anything. It's gonna blow. Like he said it's failing, right?
It's failing.
It's going to fail. We just have to, we're just waiting for it to fail. But this gives us the opportunity and the time to get into position for when it does fail.
Yeah, I'm honestly just concerned. Like, this is not our target. This is not our score.
Yeah,
No.
He's somewhere in the house. We haven't discovered where he is yet. But
because this gives us like time. These guys are they would freak out if like that thing broke right now. They would like, okay, well now we're gonna get attacked by ghosts or whatever. So we can deal with the people in this room.
Sure, that's
I
fine.
guess we probably want to tell the foghounds to leave because they don't want to be a part of the murdering.
no, they don't.
Also how we get out though.
They what?
They're our way out as well. So
Yeah, but they can wait on the boat, can't they?
Yeah, that's what they would prefer to do.
Yeah.
I think we'll have that conversation after Aldo and I are done killing everybody in that room.
Okay.
Now that you've just witnessed us kill everyone.
I have successfully made a clock, and it's an 8 clock. It'll happen at some point.
You're gonna want to put it a little more centered.
Oh, sorry.
I'm guessing we could also go back in there after we deal with these people, maybe.
Yeah,
And
like
if I could send Aldo after the generator, because like I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not strong enough to like break it because I don't have any points in rec. So
yeah,
I don't really want to do that.
yeah, you've done something to it that could be pretty easily fixed if someone noticed it.
Mhm.
But if it's left alone, it will eventually break the generator.
Okay.
That's the current situation.
Cool. So yeah, I'm like looking at it like, okay, well, I don't know, I did something, but it's clearly still working. So I'm gonna go back into the like kind of by the main room and just like I don't know, I'm ready to help them because I don't know what else to do with the generator, and I need their help, so I'm gonna go in there.
Careless is dropping a body.
Are we back to that?
I can't wait to hear the reason behind this, like being done, like in front of everybody.
Well, that's
Well,
why I
they
checked.
were
Everybody's just the
assassins,
foghorns, bro.
Everyone, what?
The foghounds know that we're assassins. Like they know our reputation when you talk.
They kind of specifically asked not to be witness to any of this stuff, and you agreed to that. But that doesn't mean Careless has to hold up that end of that bargain. And
Can I-
Or I wonder if it could even build our reputation for them to see us ruthlessly murdering people.
look, all I'm saying is Miss Cataby
already
made
know
a
plus
deal with
one.
them. This was not part of the deal, but Careless Firm does what Careless Firm does. I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just saying that that's
Well, and I'm the one with like
the deal any further, John. Okay.
don't choke on your aspirations. Okay. Can
Too
I?
soon.
Go to break on that. Don't go to break on that.
I was
I'm the
totally
one
going to
who
go to
has,
break.
like, No, I'm the one who has like the good relationship with the foghounds, and like they're important to Rune. Like she knew them in the past, so I would prefer to tell them like Careless has that look in his eye, and you might want to go while like before this happens, because I don't want them to I don't want to ruin our relationship with them.
Do you think that's a conversation we had beforehand? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, if you want to do a flashback, I will give you a 1 stress flashback to have a safety valve for Careless Firm in place with the foghounds. Like you talk to them in private, and we're like,
Okay.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but basically you prepare them to exit at the right
Yeah,
moment.
on the way over, like on the boat, I was talking with Margette, and like I was just you know,
Tell me anything.
Mr. Firm can be quite unpredictable at times, and I've always appreciated what you've done for me, of course, Margette, and it's so good seeing you again, but you should know that he's unpredictable, and when he gets going down a certain road, you might want to find the exit quite quickly.
He does have a bit of a wild look to him, I must admit. Sometimes you can judge a book by its cover and all.
Yes, he definitely lives up to the cover that you judged him by. And you're a good judge of character, and you always have been. So I think you'll know when the time is right to get out of there.
All right.
We cut
Thanks,
back to the room.
Thanks, Tarun. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna go to our break. I think the shot that we go to break on is when Jenna bends down to attend to the guy's wound and whips the cravat off, and Careless steps behind her.
I'm just like looming over.
Margette and the Foghounds are like up the stairs and closing the coal doors quietly behind them.
Nice.
I think they realized where it was going when the arm wrestling was announced.
Yeah.
And they've slowly been getting out of there during this process. So right as you lean over her, we see Margette like look Rune in the eye as you come out of the back room as she closes the coal door, kind of like,
yep.
Good luck. All right, cool. So we will come back and get to the murdering after
Murder.
this break. See you guys in a bit.